Hey, welcome to Mindset Explosion. That's season 5, episode number 4. And today we're going to talk about my experience, or how experience in my life, or through various career roles or job roles, as grew my business, how I've been able to benefit from those experiences. Now, it's something I definitely wouldn't have realized at the time when I was in those positions, because I don't. Well, no, I think if I went back in time and looked at and said to myself, oh, you're going to be running a business, you're going to have multiple businesses, you're going to be looking to buy a business, you're going to be getting property, blah, 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 blah. I'm not sure I would have believed it, but it would sound very exciting at the same time. So life takes a path, and we make certain decisions along the way. People come into our life that can really, oh wow, that's something I would like to do. And then we're often placed with a decision of, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to say yes to that, when it can be a bit scary, outside of the comfort zone and thinking outside the box. And we go forward and we do it. And then life just snowballs from there. Now, has it been easy? No, because what is, but I know staying in something I probably wasn't going to enjoy too much wasn't going to be easy either. So, that's the options really. So things are, getting into business, it was hard, it was tough. I had to take a few mindset shifts. And the reason I want to share this story with you is because I appreciate there's probably people in similar situations, or we've been through this pandemic for the last 2 years, and it can be like a good time. I need something to change in my life, I want something to change in my life. I'm ready to do more. I don't know what. So that's the purpose of this. And if you can relate, if you've been through similar experiences as myself, please comment below. And of course, if you listen to this on the podcast, a nice 5-star review and a few comments would be hugely beneficial, because that helps populate it a little bit more. And people that maybe haven't come across this can get positioned with it and get the same help, because it's all about giving and helping others achieve that little bit more. Let's bring everyone around us out to their full potential. So let's I'm going to talk about me. It's all me. All right. But if you can relate to some of this, it's going to be so important. So my career path has just taken a massive. It's gone through twists and turns and chopped, and it's changed and all sorts of things. And funny enough, went for Sunday lunch with my dad yesterday, and he was saying, how when he grew up, and we probably all heard this, it was, you got to get in the get a good job, good career. And he acknowledged, he acknowledged that the world has changed, that it's not necessarily about that. We need to be able to change around and adapt, because you're going to learn different concepts. I think even for me, being in a mastermind group with different business owners from different industries, I learned so much. Just chatting today on the phone, and I'm obviously still working on the business acquisitions and just going through that process, because everyone runs that business within that industry very differently. So you learn things just by chatting to those people, and hopefully it can become like a win-win for us at a later date. So by expanding that horizon, expanding that network as well, you start to pick up different things that can be so beneficial to you. And just being within a career or job, whether it be part-time or it's just a one-off, hopefully you'll learn, if you've got that out, what, I can learn from this, what can I learn from this, what am I going to get out of it? Because generally working for someone else, while you're working for them, it's different. The rules are different, of course they are. So my first real job was working in Debenhams in Gloucester in the menswear. But actually I started on gifts. And I was quite nervous about it. And then I went up to menswear, and I was even more nervous about that. That was just where I was. I hadn't really had a job before, been to interviews for various things. And I think I was studying at college at that point. I think I was doing like electronics and computing, and I later went on to electronics, electrical engineering. So in Debenhams, what I feel like the experience I got from them, it was just about customer service. So this is, well, gosh, going to be able to work out my age. So I think from 1993 or 92, no, it was 93, till for about 3 years, I think I was there. And it was only like a Saturday and an evening job. And then when it was summer holidays, whatever it was for college, and I get as much hours in as I could. I also did a little bit of laboring for I'll come on to that. But so let's come back to Debenhams. I think it was the customer service. It was learning how to deal with people and speaking to people. Obviously, I got some. I didn't realize I got some sales experience. Now I've done some various things before, like paper round. I think I did a job canvassing once for Stay Bright windows. I don't know if they still go, but I hated that, to be honest. That wasn't for me. What I loved about Debenhams is I felt it felt more congruent with me, basically, at the time, and I made some great friends with that. But so what I learned from there, what I feel it was the customer service, and at a young age, and just be able to deal with people. So that was something I was able to take with me. But again, I think at that time I didn't quite appreciate what that was or what it could do for me. So that's how that worked. As I kind of hinted there, so I did some work for a father of my girlfriend at the time, and some labouring, and I think that was just graft. So that was tough. I enjoyed working with Graham, but again, it was very different to what I was used to, and I think it was what the job got to get done. I think that's the biggest experience I got from that, is the job's got to get done. I was quite proud of myself for some of the things I've done, because I was never the strongest guy in the room, so I'll be able to do some of that, and I think it showed when I look back, it showed my mindset of what some of the this just needs to get done. So that was quite important. But later on, where I thought my career was going to go was as an electrical engineer. I'd done electronics and electrical engineering at college, and got my way through into HNC, and that was tough because I hadn't done great at school, so I had to work that little bit harder, and it took longer than it probably should have done. A few things that just had to do again, whatever, and then work for Twyver Switchgear. And I think for that, I was a little bit in and out of there, so I did my traveling. So again, a great experience through traveling. But the experience that I feel I got as electrical engineer was, things that I use now is more about is having systems. So I later became a quality engineer. So it's understanding procedures, systems. Now, anyone else, you go in any job, this is going to get boring if I just ramble on, is it? But whatever job, there's always something that can be taken somewhere else. It might even be you had an amazing manager and it's like, well, I want to be like that person, or a great mentor. You had someone that wasn't very nice and it was bullying, or they weren't so great or condescending, and you think, well, that's how I'm not going to do it. So whatever you go, whatever position you've been through throughout your time, it's good to, I always say, it's good to look back, but what skill sets can you take from there? Because if you're in a position now where you're thinking, I want to go on to something different, I don't know what am I capable of? I couldn't do that. But sometimes you just got to write down the things that you're good at, all the skill sets you've got. So just in this time speaking, I've realized, I was good at customer service. I felt so. All right. Could it be improved? Always. Everything can be improved. Everything can be made to get better. I was good at, writing procedures. For my time as an electrical engineer, I learned all about, financing a job and breaking it down to everything, then to creating procedures for how things have got to be done. So I started putting systems in place. And I also feel that engineering role, I may not have enjoyed it, and that was just down to me. It wasn't for me, but it gave me some great skills and problem finding, problem solving. So that has been crucial as a business owner, because problems do pop up, and it's about how can I solve it. Now, if I wasn't good at solving problems, I'd have to hire someone else that is good at solving problems. So there is that, right? There's always someone that's out there you could outsource to if you need to, but don't go crazy outsourcing at the beginning unless you can, you're getting a good stream of income in. That's my opinion on it, but depends where you are, right? So being that engineer, that put me in that right frame of mind. Later on, as I become a martial arts instructor, it was a massive career change. I was about 29, coming up to 30. And then that put me in a different perspective from there, because I became more self-employed then, and we were very much encouraged for, business development. So now my customer service came into it, but then it was taken to a different level, going out, meeting people. So how we grew the martial arts school was actually just walking out onto the street, introducing us as a bow. Can you imagine bowing to someone you don't know, a proper martial arts bow, feet together, hands stood up? Because you couldn't do it half-hearted, because you just looked like you looked even weirder, if you could look even weirder doing that. But that's what we did. It was our way of screaming pigs and, attracting that attention and taking it from there, and wanting to give something to someone that they didn't. And I guess we were all trying to sell, right? We're providing a service that was going to improve someone's life. But how do you get that out there if people don't know, and they've maybe got already a perceived, a perception of what that is? So that's how we grew that, and that's how we grew the location I started working at in Gloucester. I think about 200 members, really fast, probably definitely within a year. And then coming over to Cheltenham and doing the same thing again. No members whatsoever, put my name on the lease. So I learned to take, risk a little bit of something and put myself down out on the line a little bit to be able to get something back. But that's what I had to do. I had the backing, obviously, then of the owner of Karate World, Stephen Thompson. So, he financed it, and my name was on the lease, his name was on the lease. So it put me under that pressure to, go out and do something about it. So that's the experience I've got from that. Now, my martial arts training is a totally different thing altogether, especially when I became a staff member, because that was tough. It was tough, and it enabled me to break things down, set goals, see a lot more ahead, believe in myself that little bit more, take myself out my comfort zone. If you think like martial arts is very much about getting comfortable, being uncomfortable. Doesn't matter what style it is, you're going to be doing things that this is a bit uncomfortable. This isn't normal. If you're sparring and even just getting on with the training, it's not a normal everyday thing, is it? So it changes that mindset. So all these things come together. Now, someone else could have been a rugby player or team player who never done sport whatsoever. It really don't matter, because before martial arts, there wasn't really much sports I did enjoy, and that's just my one. That's the one I love and the one I enjoy, and I get so much from it. And hanging around with world champions and meeting great people, all these things came into play for when it eventually then I bought the Cheltenham branch from Stephen, the owner. So it was his systems. He put the finance in. I built the school up, and again, I think we got 200 members very, very quickly. That was less than, I think it was about, I'm going to say 9 months on that one. So everything had come together, everything had combined together. Even when I become a dad, that changed how I looked upon my teaching and how I would interact with it, even with the children that was bringing on through the martial arts classes. So wherever you're at, everything you've done has created an experience of some form. It's created something that you like. I'd love to. I could definitely do this. I can go and do more. You could just be I've seen people leave admin jobs and then they just become freelance, and they do amazingly well at it. So you've all picked up a skill set. You may be someone that's been they've been like a factory worker. They've gone off and done their own thing because they've learned so many different skill sets just from that. And it could be just through a coaching system, whatever. But there's always something there. So there's always something we can look back on, and it gives you that experience. And yes, you've got to get used to being a little bit uncomfortable. But we get comfortable with that. It does become a strangely comfortable feeling of getting uncomfortable, feeling uncomfortable. But the only thing that's always in our way is what's going on in here. Our mindset, hence the mindset explosion, to kind of unleash whatever it is that's in there. And because it's either way, if you're thinking of something that I want to do this, or something's not right, I need to change this. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of work or a lot of work, however you want to look at it. But go for it, do it, and you're going to come out. Not doing it's still hard work. So you might as well crack on and do it, isn't it? You got nothing to lose. Yeah. And sometimes, I wouldn't always advise it, but for me, I put myself in positions where it's literally, like that saying, burn the ships. So the guys went off to battle and they would burn the boats, burn the bridges, whatever. So there was no way back. So I've strategically, I will say, put myself in a position where there was just no way back. And see if there was a way. I've done stuff where there was a way back. I remember leaving the engineering role once to go traveling, and I tried to burn the bridge a bit because I thought this is not going to be good for me to go back. Anyway, it wasn't quite burnt, and I went back. But you know what? It served its purpose. Hey ho. But what I'm getting at is what I've learned from there is, when it's time for me to move on to the next thing, I need to make sure that foundation, whatever it was, is gone, and put myself in that position where I can really, lurch it forward. And now it's got to that position as a business owner, where what I've built my team, I've got a great team. I don't need to be there. I really don't need to be there. I just go in and actually what I do now is training. I say I go in and train and just use that for my fitness, and the staff are running that, perfectly. And obviously we have to have the odd meeting, but I'm not there on a daily basis. I'm not teaching there anymore. And that's all come from the experience of, seeing how things were done. Of course, getting some great mentors that have encouraged that. And I want to share it because I think it's important that things do take time. But could I have sinned that 20 years ago? Probably not. But that's just growth. And it doesn't matter where you are in life. Yet there's people that can do that from day one, and that's amazing and great. But for me, I've had to acquire these skills and learn them and go out my way to learn them and invest to learn them. And I've made so many mistakes. Even with the team, I've made mistakes in the past. And, it wasn't for them and they've had to go. And it's never easy, but that's just what has to happen. And we all move on. And even in terms of, I've talked about customer service, I've sometimes got that wrong. And I've had to adapt and we just got to get through this and try to make amends as best as we can, and we move on. So everything is a learning process. And in terms of my teaching martial arts, we're going to make mistakes anyway. I made mistakes as an engineer because there's only so much you can do, like looking at a screen and flipping things around and messing about with CAD drawings and then putting numbers in a system. So these things happen. So where you're in your comfort zone, mistakes happen anyway. So it's when I step out, I just make different mistakes, but I learn from them. And things don't go right, they make you stronger, and you get through them and you find that way forward. But I feel my engineering background has really helped me to kind of be that problem solver. So when something's not right, well, how can I sort this out now? How can I resolve this problem? How can I make this get working again? And how can I make it great? And then that's kind of backed up then with my martial arts training. So training onto a fourth dan, the dan gradings were just so tough. So putting myself in things that are a little bit uncomfortable. The dan gradings were really uncomfortable, living all day 8 till 6 or whatever it was, and getting cramp in places I didn't think I could get cramp in. But that's another story. My point is that keep finding things to grow and evolve you. We have training courses, but sometimes just going through career and life experiences, you're learning there. So taking that time to think, right, what is it? If you're looking for a change or you're looking to grow, well, what have I got? What can I do? And if there's something missing, you can somehow outsource it, but there's more going for us than we realize sometimes. And I do think that social conditioning may have taught us to be in a certain place and be a certain way. And if you're comfortable with that, that's fine and that's great. You're happy. But if something doesn't feel right about that, then it is time to change. If something's feeling a bit, you know what? I just feel a bit, well, okay, let's change this. Let's make it better. And that's it. Keep it as simple as that. Let's make it better. I'd love to know your thoughts. Okay. There'll be no mindset next week. For whatever reason, I'm not here. But there is some interviews coming up. I'm looking forward to them. You're going to get so much out of those. Thank you, everybody. So I will see you again soon. Okay. But let me know, what is it? What is your experiences? How has your experiences helped you? Or how can they help you when you're moving forward to the next phase of your growth? Peace, love, always, all the time. Don't forget, tomorrow, of course, I'm live on the Inner Power podcast with Andrew. We're interviewing. We got an interview tomorrow, actually, so that's going to be a good one if you love mindset. So head on over to the Inner Power podcast page tomorrow at 11 a.m. See you later.